All right, welcome back everyone for another deep dive. Today we're doing something a little different.
Oh,
Yeah, we're only looking at a single source today.
interesting.
It's a snippet from an article,
Okay.
and the title is Pasted Text.
Pasted text.
Yeah, I know, right?
Mm.
Pretty nondescript.
And
But the hashtags are what caught our attention here.
right.
The hashtags were hashtag Africa News, hashtag Elon Musk, and hashtag electric cars.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So a pretty curious combination, right?
Oh, definitely.
And the quote itself, this snippet from the article, it kind of challenges the usual narratives about Africa and its place in the world.
I see.
And it hints at the continent's potential contributions, especially when it comes to a certain industry that we'll get to.
Okay.
So you ready to sort of unpack this with me?
I'm ready. Let's dive in.
Okay, great. So this quote starts with, "The West has always believed and pushed this narrative that Africans have nothing to offer the world. However, aside from Africa's abundant resources which have developed the Western world, the continent is blessed with innovative minds and talents. In a time when the effect,"
Ooh, it just cuts off there.
and that's where it ends. It's like we're starting a good book, and then the last page is just ripped out.
Yeah, it makes you want to know more.
Yeah, it makes you think, what effect?
Yeah,
What's it talking about?
right.
So what are your initial thoughts here?
Well, I think it's really interesting that it does acknowledge the historical context,
Yeah.
The idea that Africa has been seen as just a source of resources for the rest of the world.
Right.
But then it takes this turn
Yeah.
and it points to something more. It says innovative minds and talents.
Exactly.
So I'm curious, what do you think it's hinting at here? Especially with those hashtags about Elon Musk and electric cars.
Yeah. My first thought was electric car batteries.
Oh, yeah.
The Democratic Republic of Congo produces, I think it's over 70% of the world's cobalt, and that's a crucial element
Mm-hmm.
for long-lasting EV batteries.
Right.
So the connection to resources, I think, is pretty clear.
Yeah.
But are we just talking about raw materials here? Or is there something more going on?
I think that's a really critical point that you're hitting on.
Yeah.
We can't just stop at the resources.
Right.
This quote, this snippet, is pushing us further.
Okay.
Think about the burgeoning tech hubs that are popping up all across Africa.
Yeah.
Places like Lagos, Nairobi, Cape Town.
Mm-hmm.
These are becoming like hotbeds for startups and innovation.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're not just copying Western models either.
Right.
They're developing solutions that are tailored to African needs
Yeah.
and that often have global relevance.
I see what you're saying. But doesn't focusing solely on Africa's resources sort of play into that old narrative that we're trying to move away from?
I think that's a really valid point, and it is a balancing act for sure. I think acknowledging the resource aspect is important, right?
Yeah.
It is a big part of the story, but I think the real story here is how Africa can actually leverage those resources
Right.
for its own development
Right.
and play a bigger role in shaping the future of industries, like electric vehicles.
Like electric vehicles, yeah.
And what we're seeing is a shift from simply extracting resources to actually adding value, building expertise, and contributing to the design and manufacturing process.
Yeah, that makes sense. Imagine a world where, like, the next Tesla competitor isn't from California, but from Nairobi.
That's a good point.
That's the kind of shift that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
But what about Elon Musk? Where does he fit into all of this?
Well, we don't know for sure what this article was trying to say,
Right.
but it's worth noting that Tesla, along with other major electric car manufacturers, they are increasingly looking to Africa for sourcing their materials and potentially even manufacturing. Musk's vision for sustainable energy also, I think, aligns with Africa's potential to kind of leapfrog ahead.
Right into a greener future.
Exactly. And his companies, like SpaceX, for example, are investing in infrastructure projects in Africa,
Interesting.
which indirectly supports the growth of the tech ecosystem there.
So, I mean, we've gone from a snippet of text to talking about a potential, like, revolution in the entire electric vehicle industry,
Yeah.
all sparked by, one unfinished sentence.
It's pretty amazing.
It's pretty amazing.
And it brings us back to that effect that the snippet mentioned.
Right.
Maybe it was referring to the impact of a more empowered and innovative Africa on the global stage.
Yeah.
And how these changes could disrupt existing power dynamics
Yeah.
and create new opportunities.
Yeah, and I think this really challenges us to rethink the way that we see Africa's role in the world.
I agree.
We focused on the connection to electric vehicles, but I think the implications go far beyond just that single industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
It raises a crucial question.
What's that?
What do you think? How might this shift in perspective impact global innovation as a whole?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we can move beyond just the outdated narratives and really embrace the potential of Africa's talent and resources, what could the future hold?
That's something for everyone to consider, right?
It is.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more information out there if you want to keep diving in.
Absolutely.
So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.